Hi, my name is Jennifer Palafox. I am a student at Mount St. Mary's College. I am currently a freshman and a liberal arts major with an emphasis in sociology.
Hi, I'm Autumn Clifton and I'm a freshman here at Mount St. Mary's College.
My name is Jasmine Scales. I am a second year and my major is pre-nursing.
My name is Estrella Ramirez. I am class from 2010. I graduated with my BA in psychology and I grew up in LA.
When I graduated high school, my college advisor from high school kept telling me, like, do you know what you want to do? Do you know what you want to do? When you apply, you have to put in your major. But I think it's okay to search. Although I am a nursing major and I have decided to stick to it at some point in my first semester here, I was in the middle of changing majors or staying here, not because I don't like nursing, but because I felt like the classes weren't really for me. At first, I was struggling to find the interest in it, and I was struggling, so I started feeling like, oh, I'm not gonna make it, and I started thinking that I wasn't gonna be able to become a nurse, and I started looking into other majors, but then it really depends on what you like and what you want to do, and if you really want something, then you will achieve it.
Well, last semester I was a nursing major. I was not into the classes at all. Like, I really I just didn't like science, and I don't know what the exact reason why I chose nursing. But after experiencing like a psychology class and going through it, I realized that I really do like psychology, and psychology is for me. So from last semester to this semester, I changed my major to psychology.
It feels like your whole life and your future is like riding on your decision. Like, what do I want to do with my life? What career am I going to have? And is it the career that like I'm gonna want when I'm older? I don't want to wake up when I'm 40 years old and realize that I hate my job, and
Yeah, it's scary. You feel like you're lost. You don't know what you want. Everyone seems like they know what they want to do, and you're over here like, oh, I don't know if I can do it or not. But you just gotta stick through, and once you find out what you want to do, then you'll succeed.
I think that that's probably one of my biggest issues, is thinking too much of the future. I think this year I've been really focusing on just like enjoying the classes and, taking in the information, not so much like how am I going to apply this to my future. I need to get here, I need to get there, because that's what overwhelms me the most. Is that I think I know that I can make it there, but I'm so focused on thinking there that I can't even think now.
I feel like it's your personal choice, and your parents help you go through college, but don't let them make the choice for you about what you want to do in life. Because for my experience, I was a biology major and that was something I really wanted to do, but then at the end when I was taking the courses, I realized like this is not what I want to do. Yes, I want to help people and work with them, but in a different way.
The fact that everyone's constantly asking you, what do you want to do? How's this career going to help you in the future type of thing? And your family members, your friends, people you talk to, or even your parents when they're bragging about you, they ask you like, oh, what does your daughter or your son want to do? And you're there like, oh, mom, like I don't know yet. Or, oh yeah, it's really interesting. You're talking about all these different majors, but then you still don't know. For a point, I wanted to be a dentist for some odd reason. I don't know why. People like to go to the doctor, and I hate the doctor, but I don't know, I just liked how my dentist was really open to his field and was teaching me about it. So I decided, oh, well, maybe this is something for me. Maybe, I can do it. And I really liked physiology at the time. I started volunteering at a senior home when my grandma had recently passed away. And it was a very emotional experience for me because I just lost my grandma. I was with a bunch of seniors that are neglected from their families. I got attached because I saw how I wish I would have spent so much time with my grandmother, and seeing all these other people who have families, great-grandchildren, they're just neglected every day. They don't get visited by their family. And I thought, wow, this sucks. This is something I can make a difference in their life. Volunteering is what led me to decide to major in gerontology when I moved up to Chelan. Changing my major was a difficult process because it also involved my parents. So I was scared changing it, and I would always come to the different services that they have at school and talk to all the administrators and see what they can, what word of advice they could give me. Then I'd go home and it's a whole different story. It's like, okay, I was brave at school, but then I come home and it's like, oh wait, like, hi mom, I don't, I kind of want to talk to you.
I grew up always wanting someone to talk to. I grew up always wanting to have someone that I could go to and just share my emotions. I always wanted to be that positive influence for someone else, to let them know that, regardless of what your past is or what went on in life, there's still a positive outlook. So that kind of influenced me choosing psychology, influenced me being a therapist. But right now I work in a nonprofit organization called, it's EMQ Families First. I work for a program called Wraparound.
Ta-da! My office, which is pretty cool.
I work with kids who are in DCFS, who have an open case with the Department of Child and Family Services, who are in probation or who are in the foster care system. And a lot of what I do is provide therapy. I started working with that program in 2010 as a behavioral interventionist. And then once I got into my master's program, I did an internship there as well in the outpatient department as a therapist. And that kind of opened my eyes a little bit more in regards to me actually being a therapist and me determining, okay, this is what I really want to do.
Maybe it took me 5 months to get the job. I was looking up and down, and I found this job. I found the listing, and I really got a good vibe of it, and it's the ideal job for me. I mean, I love working with kids. I love helping families, and this is what I studied for. This is what I have always wanted to do. So
I feel that if you could make a change in a kid's life as an adult, they're gonna have a more positive outlook and everything.
So once I came here and I started taking bio, now I'm taking microbiome. It's very competitive, it's very hard. Classes and tests come by like that in a flash. And I feel that just having resources, like being at the Learning Resource Center and working there helps a lot to get tutored from my professors, and being at the Student Success Center to have sort of like peer advisors with me helps me a lot, but I still find myself breaking down sometimes.
And if you don't understand anything or you have a question about your grade, it's important that you speak now and instead of like letting it build up to the end of the semester and then you're kind of stuck. So
like you're having a lot of stress, you're having problems, like talk to your professors because they will understand and they will make exceptions and they'll work around you. So don't be scared if like you have a paper due but yet something else is going on. Explain to them what's going on and they'll find a way to work it out. Like always communication, talk to them, and there's always a way to figure it out. Don't just try and deal with it yourself. Always ask for help.
Yeah, don't be afraid to talk to your professors. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, it takes a while, it takes a lot of practice, like to kind of get in that rhythm, but eventually you'll get there and it's worth it.
There are times where I had a paperback, my English paperback, and I knew I worked so hard on it. And then once I get the grade that I didn't feel like I didn't deserve, I went to my professor and I always talk to them how I feel. And usually, sure enough, they do changes here and there. Sometimes they explain to you, what your wrongs are. So that's why I think that talking with your professor, especially the ones that you like, really helps out too. They also encourage you that like, oh, you can do it. Don't worry. I mean, extra credits coming or something like that.
Someone asked me, they're like, oh, how are your classes going? Like, you're getting A's? And I'm like, yeah, like B's, I'm doing good. And they're like, you're paying to get a B? And it kind of like, that just stuck with me. Like, ever since then, I really thought about it. I was like, wow, like, I'm not paying to get a B, I'm paying to get an A. Like, you have to work hard, you're paying for it. So make it count and don't waste any time, like, getting bad grades,
You have to learn from your mistakes. Like, say you get a really bad grade on a test or a really bad grade on an exam, or you do poorly in a course or something, that it's okay. Because if you continue to think about that, those negative thoughts are just going to bring you down, and it's not only going to affect you emotionally, but it's also going to start reflecting in your coursework, because you're going to be thinking, oh, I did bad in this class, so I'm going to do bad in this one, and then it's just not going to mix. So I think that it's best to learn from your mistakes, and if you do bad, then just pick yourself up and move on. You can do better next time.
Don't procrastinate. Learn your time management as early as you can, because it's probably the most important aspect of school. I came to take my exams. They were like, oh, what's your major? I was like, oh, pre-health nursing. They're like, get down on the ground on your knees and pray right now. So I'm like, oh, thanks. So that's the attitude I'm supposed to have. I was expecting it to be challenging, but this year has been really challenging, especially in my science courses. Everything else has been moderate, but my science courses, especially microbiome, We have the Learning Resource Center. There's a lot of students there that are willing to tutor, and they're all just dedicating their time to help you out, so honestly, use it. For me, I go to my professors. They're not as big and bad as they may seem. They're honestly there to help you as well. That's why they have office hours. I get through it by talking with friends. You both are feeling the same emotions, so you can talk to each other and be like, you know, like today I'm not feeling it so much. Yeah, me either. Like just taking some me time too. I know everybody says that. It's really important to make sure that you take care of yourself.
You have to set a schedule for when you're going to study as well as downtime, because a lot of the stuff that piles up throughout the semester is stress. And when it all really piles up on you, you just like break down, and you need that downtime to be able to kind of like forget everything else and just think about yourself.
I also think that having a schedule and planning a time to eat is also essential, because sometimes as we're busy, we tend to forget, oh, I need to eat now. And knowing that this is the time period that you're going to eat will help you.
If like you guys have part-time jobs, only work on the weekends, because first semester I worked on the weekdays and it was so stressful, like right after class to take the bus to work and then go home and do homework. And this semester, like I talked to my managers and now I only work weekends, and it's so much better. Like you're not thinking about work during class or anything like that.
After that, I've been using the gym as a way to let go of my stress. So before I go to microbiome class, I go for a run, shower, then head to class, and I find myself that I'm not even sleepy. I'm more pumped up, if anything.
Getting that hour, even if it's just an hour, just to like not think about school or homework or friends, and just like focus on you and just get everything out that you need to get out.
It's really important to get involved, but I would recommend to like ease yourself into it, because like at the Mount there's so many clubs and like programs and things to get involved in, but you don't want to put too much on yourself that you can't bear basically. And you know, just ease yourself into it. Academics should always come first, and then you know everything else will fall into place.
That procrastinating is stressful because it all comes in at the same time. You have 3 essays due at the same time. 2 exams the same week, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had a month left, and it turns out your exam's tomorrow and an essay's due tomorrow too.
Now I try not to stress because then I'll get sick like I currently am, and I'm surprised that I didn't get this really sick this semester, because last semester I was always sick, and now I just learned like this affects your body mentally and physically, so just take it one step at a time.
At this school though, there are so many resources you can go to, and don't think that, oh, I don't want to go to see a psychologist or I don't want to go see a counselor because everyone's going to think I'm crazy. No, they're not, because everyone needs someone to talk to, and really they help me work through my problems so much. I've seen a tremendous change in myself from when I first came here. I was all timid, shy, scared, and now I just feel like a completely different person. You can go to the counseling and psychological services. They're always there. And I think your first 6 sessions are free.
There are a lot of help there. Like they help you clear your mind, and you do most of the talking, and you end up finding solutions to your own problem. And
I was calling financial like all throughout summer, like what's this, like what's that, like Googling all these extra things. Like you have to know everything that's available to you and take it, because you need all the money you can get, and whatever's left over, like she said, don't stress about it. School's more important. You can take out loans, you can pay them back later. Just do what's important now and don't stress about the money too much.
The other day I had to return some papers, and I kept asking myself, oh, what if I don't turn in this, and then I won't be able to get financial aid, and I kept burdening myself with all these thoughts, and then all it took was one appointment at the financial aid office, and everything got cleared.
I used to be intimidated by the people in the financial aid office, especially Norm. He likes it. But in the summer before coming into college, I had some issues with my FAFSA, and like it wasn't like getting processed. So I called him, and like I came to see him, and I was really like afraid because he seems scary by email and on the phone. But like I met him, and he's really nice, and he's really helpful too.
look for scholarships, like any scholarship you can get, do it. I know sometimes the essays are kind of like, oh, I don't want to work for the scholarship, but just do the essay, write the essay, it's worth it. Like, it's a $1,000 essay, just do it. Like, I'm sure I'm like a lot of you, I am not from like a rich background, but I'm also not from a really poor one. So I'm in that gap where I don't get a lot of financial aid, but it doesn't cover everything. And I couldn't get any loans because my dad doesn't even own a credit card. He has no credit score or anything. So my dad was paying for the leftover amount out of pocket.
I'm financially independent because I have two unstable parents, and it's been a struggle, but honestly it's been so rewarding because I've learned how to take care of everything on my own. The financial aid counselors are there all the time. I'll go in, ask them a question, I'm thinking that I'm annoying them, I'll walk right back in and ask them another question, and they're not annoyed at all. That's what they're there for.
Something that helped me with my academics and my GPA was definitely the whole financial aid factor of it. I knew that I was going to be able to get more money and more assistance if I had a higher GPA, so that really motivated me into doing well and doing better in school academically and getting better grades, getting a higher GPA, and I was able to get into the Dean's List my first year. So reporting that to the FAFSA, they were able to give me a little bit more money.
I think having your family understand that you are now in college is the hardest thing, because they're so used to you being in like elementary, middle school, high school. It's not as heavy. They don't really understand the transition from going from high school to college. They kind of underestimate the workload that is being put on you. And there's those days where my parents or my brothers will invite me to go have lunch with them or to do something, go to a movie, but I just say I can't, I have to do this for school or I have to do that for school. And then they'll say, oh, you're so busy for school, you don't care about us anymore, or something like that. When it gets like that, you just have to sit them down and explain to them and try to make them see everything from your position, from your shoes.
Last Saturday, it was my niece's birthday party, and they told me oh, we really need your help to put all the decorations and everything. I was like, but I have to study. So I went, and my mom's like, oh, they'll come and meet this person. It's like, not now. I was just studying throughout the whole party. That's just the way it is.
The first week, my mom was calling me every hour, what are you doing? How's it going? And I was like, oh yeah, this and that. And then as time went on, I had less time. I was in class, she'd call me and I wouldn't answer. I'd be like, oh, I'm in class. She's like, you don't answer my calls, you don't talk to me anymore. I'm like, I'm busy, or I'm at work, or I'm studying, and our schedules are total opposite. So it's hard making time for her, but you have to make that time to sit down and call, because they're worried, they're back home, they don't know what you're doing, so you have to inform them and just keep that communication going, because it's really important.
I grew up in a low-income family. My dad worked all the time. My mom got sick when I was 5, so she was diagnosed with kidney failure, and from then on out, it was just a lot of in and out of the hospitals, a lot of hospital visits, a lot of hospital admissions. I grew up kind of having to do my own thing, getting involved in a lot of after-school programs to kind of just have that positive support. I started helping my dad out with the rent when I was 18. My mom was in the hospital, so a lot of the times I would sleep over the hospital just to give her that support, just to be there for her. So I grew up kind of being the therapist, I guess you could say, for my family, and the backbone for my family. That was a lot of my decisions throughout college. How is this going to benefit my family?
So balancing out family with school is kind of difficult. The first semester I was a commuter. So I live in the Valley and I would have to commute to LA, every day of the week, because I had classes even Fridays. And on the weekends, it was homework. I would have family parties at my house and I'd stay in my room. I'm sorry, I have homework, there's nothing I can do, because Sunday it's do my chores, laundry, and then go to sleep early because I would have to wake up at 5 to go to school. I hate when people are like, commuters are, residents are so lucky. I'm like, I lived both lives. There's a struggle to both. Being a commuter first taught me to not take things for granted, because I was able to see the luxury of dorming and how lucky certain people were to dorm, and everybody has their reasons why they're dorming and why they're commuting, and I had my reasons as well.
The first time I actually went to, I think my first 2 weeks of school was I had my dad drive me, and traffic was horrible. The 101 South it took almost an hour and a half to get to school, And then once I started, asking people around, like how did they get to campus, they told me about transportation such as the bus and the metros and the expo lines and such. So I think that really helped a lot. So just knowing your alternative. So what if, example, your car is runs down? You have to find an alternative to get to school without having the trouble of thinking of another way besides walking.
Make enough time to study, especially as a commuter. If you're going to be in the train or in the car, stuck in traffic, use that time to study because it's very essential.
There was days where I would just go home and start to cry because of the stress that would pile on from I used to commute with a friend that attended Shalon, so I used to go up to the campus and take the shuttle down. So that was like 4 hours in a day that I was in the car. And it used to become very overwhelming, but it's kind of like you just gotta get used to it and adjust to it because it's not like going to high school where your high school is in the area you live, the college you choose to go to can be anywhere you want it to be, and it can be far, it can be close. And I chose this school personally because I really like it. Like the staff are really, they're really open to seeing you and helping you. And although like it was hard commuting, I kind of got used to it, and it was my choice to go through it because I wanted to come here.
Commuting kind of put more duties on top of our plate, and like she had said that sometimes you just want to break down, and I've had those moments where I just want to break down, but once I stepped foot into this campus, it all goes away because of the beauty around the campus.
The hardest part about commuting is waking up early. Like I feel like the people that dorm here are so lucky. They get that extra hour of sleep, and I have to wake up an hour earlier, get ready. It takes me like almost an hour to get here on the bus. And I was always jealous of the people that dormed here. Like they get extra sleep, and if they forget something in their locker, the school's like right here. And
I think like reflecting on like my first year dorming and then this year like commuting, I feel like I see the differences. Like now I'm more like punctual when coming to class, like I have to be here on time. I also feel like more organized because I know I have to get things done at a certain time because I know I'm not going to be at the college all day. So when I was dorming, it was a little bit different. I may have procrastinated a bit, and then also I could be late to class because I took that luxury sometimes. Like I took it as like, yeah, and I was like, if I was late to class, like I would like kind of let it happen. So now I have to be more on top of that.
My dorm mates and my floor mates have become like my second family. So it's like we share like common goals, and if you need something, you can just knock on their door and be like, hey, I need help with this, or like who's the same major as you. You guys can study together. So to me, that was like the best experience overall.
Don't let boyfriends or girlfriends be a distraction. Like if they're in school, they'll understand, and do not let a breakup ruin your grades, because that happened to me like right in the middle of the semester. I just didn't want to do anything. Like I was done with school. I thought life was over, and it happened at the beginning of the semester, and now I'm trying to like bring up all my grades and like, oh, why didn't I do that assignment? Because I was too busy crying over a boy that it's not gonna matter in 2 years. Like, so you have your emotions, deal with them, but don't let it take over your life, and just stay focused on school. It's a distraction. It'll be a distraction.
I would like to say, like, don't be afraid to say no, because sometimes I'll have my friends like, oh, let's go out to the France. And I'm like, oh, it's so tempting, but then I end up saying no. I'll be like, no, I have to get this done. And they're like, oh, okay, but yeah, don't be afraid to say no.
Like I remember my friends were gonna go to Frat Row, I think like last week, and I had an essay due the next day, which was Friday, and they're like, oh, you can get it done when we get back. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, are you gonna help me when we get back? They're like, no. I'm like, then I'm not going, because you're not gonna get the bad grade I am. So it's okay, like, to say no. And it sucks because then they make fun of you, but then, like, I always tell, like, some of my friends are nursing majors, I'm like, if you had a micro exam, would you go out tonight? And they're like, no. I'm like, exactly. So you just have to, like, tell them how it is, and they'll understand, hopefully.
I think being healthy, too, like, you have to keep in mind, like, I know they always say like freshman 15, but actually like it could be more sometimes. Like you have to make sure, because when you're studying and doing all this homework, you're going to be like eating, you know, the more longer you are awake. And if you start to like not feel good just because, you know, you've been going to school and you're starting to get, you know, overweight or whatever is happening, you need to like kind of stay on top of that because you don't want to get sick, you know.
What I really like about Mount St. Mary's is the requirement for like the service learning classes where you do like volunteer hours in the community. And doing that, you know, you might find out that, you know, you like working with kids or, you know, you don't like working with kids.
I'm a student ambassador at Crenshaw High School. I'm also a resident assistant for the Doheny campus as well. In high school, I really, you know, wasn't the best student. I didn't really have like the drive when I first started out. Being a student ambassador really gives me the chance to help students that may have been in the situation that I was in. With the Student Ambassador Program, we work a minimum of 12 hours a week, just, you know, helping them with the application process, SAT, ACT, things like that. And also we just help and assist the counselor with, you know, college awareness events and different things that get the students, you know, ready for college.
There's pretty much like a lot of inspiration all over campus because they have speakers come in and they're very motivational. So I feel like that has really motivated me, and even my family has seen it in me.
I think something that helps me or, you know, makes me come back is just because I've been there and I've done that. I know what they've gone through, and at times there were those moments where I wish there was someone that would come back as an alum and talk to freshmen and sophomore and talk to us about what is out there in the real world, what's gonna happen after you graduate, and we didn't really have that.
Hi guys, again. So undergrad students have, like Robin said, have that thought that like, okay, well this is what I studied as an undergrad, like I have to stick with this is my career, and that's totally, absolutely not the case.
If I'm given that chance to do that, I'm gonna take it, whether it's going to talk to high school students, going to talk to middle school students, coming back here and talking to college freshmen and sophomores, I'm gonna do it. If I could tell 18-year-old Estrella coming in as a freshman, would definitely be, don't be scared and just do what you want to do.